morning. I'm Brian Cisko. I'm owner of Cast Bonsai Gardens in Edwardsville, Illinois. We're here today with the Prairie State Bonsai Society. We're invited up to vend at this show this weekend, and I'm going to critique the show. We're basically going to come up with 3 questions for the trees that are shown here. One is what is actually positive about the tree itself, how it can be improved, and the overall display of the tree. Here we have a lovely ponderosa pine. Positive aspects, it's a nice old tree. It's got great bark, great branching. It's well done, I believe. Improvement, I don't really see any improvement at this time. It looks great as long as you can keep it growing as is, and presentation is well done. Here we have a Chinese sweet plum, probably imported from China. It's got a great trunk, good nabari. It does have taper. It does need a little refinement, but it's doing very well. Positive is the start of the new nabari. It does need a little work. Branching could be a little more well done and refined, and the presentation with the accent plant looks wonderful. This is a very nice cedar elm. I understand it had a totally different view a year or 2 ago. It had a main trunk coming up the middle that was taken off. It was probably longer than that was taken off. And these are probably, the small trees are probably sprouts that have come out. It's a perfect setup. Very positive about this tree. Improvement, I really don't see any. And the presentation is striking. Very nice Portulacara afra. Great structure, great movement, very good branch placement. Improvement, I really don't see any, and presentation is very nice with the neat little accent plant. Okay. This is a blue rug juniper. Normally they're horizontal growing. This apparently was trained in this style some time ago. The lime sulfur on it does look a bit artificial. It does need a little work or age on it to make it look more natural. But as far as the branching placement and the overall style of the tree, it's very nice. The only improvement I see is working on the deadwood to make it look more natural, and the presentation is very nice. This is a nice little Schefflera arbicola, or dwarf chef. It's a nice tropical. It looks very natural, something out in the wild. It's got very nice branching. The root structure does need some work. Besides that, I think it's very nice, and the presentation is well done. Japanese white pine. Nice sized tree. I like the branching on it. It's very nice and full. I believe that the gin that's coming out the right front on the lower side looks very artificial. Looks like it was just actually placed on there. I think that could be worked on for improvement. Besides that, the presentation is well done. We have a Chinese elm to the right, and I believe a Seiju elm on the left. The Seiju elm, the little accent plant, is very nice looking. It looks like an old little tree. It has lost some leaves, but we are getting into cooler weather, so I'm sure it's already dropping leaves. The larger elm is a little yellow. That could be weather, but besides that, I think it's well done. The pot is probably a little big for this tree, and besides the pot size, it does have good structure. I'm sure this is an imported elm and done in China, as far as the curving and things go. Presentation is very nice. Got a very nice little Ming Aurelia, Shohin, 10 inches or less. A nice little raft, well done. Looks very tropical. Looks like you're in the tropics actually. I think the accent plant on this one is a little large for the presentation of the tree. Nice little Kingsville boxwood mountain scene. I believe it's very well done. The only improvement would be get some age on these trees. I know that takes a little time, and I'm sure it's a fairly new planting, but it looks very nice, and presentation is well done. Nice Itoigawa Shimpaku, most likely imported from Japan. Again, we have a little problem with deadwood. It's a little white. It does need some age on it, or toning down. Besides that, it's a little out of balance as far as the top compared to the bottom, but the presentation is very well done. Got a nice Shohin Trident maple, nice very small leaves, great trunk, good shape, very nice presentation. Got a white cedar. It looks like a raft to me. This is very unusual. You usually don't see white cedars used for bonsai because of the size of the foliage, but I think this is perfect. Looks very nice, and it is different from many trees that you see. Presentation is well done. This is a dwarf Japanese black pine. I believe it's a kotobuki. It was probably imported. They're very slow growers, but he's done a nice job with it. It does need some age on it. I believe the accent plant might be a little large for this presentation, but besides that, it's well done. We've got a single little Kingsville boxwood Shohin. Nice old little tree, excellent trunk, good taper, great nabari, and very nice presentation. We've got a nice azalea here, full cascade. It needs a little work, but yet it's supposed to look natural. I believe it does look natural. I think give it a little time, let it fill in more, and it would be very nice, especially if it was blooming for the show. Presentation is well done. Got a Shimpaku juniper here. It's a little top heavy. It could be a very nice literati or bunjingi. The deadwood's beautiful on it, but I believe the top does need some work. The little fern accent plant goes well with it. Got a nice display of an eastern white cedar. To me, it's a windswept style. Very well done. A very old looking tree. I think there's a little, maybe too much moss at the base. It kind of distracts you from looking at the tree, but the presentation is well done. Got a Femina juniper here. A little sparse on the foliage. Maybe it was taken back recently, pruned back hard. When it fills in, I think it would be very nice. The deadwood looks good. The color is a little white and does need some toning down and aged, but the presentation is very nice. I have a ficus grove here. Very nice, very tall. I like the very shallow pot. It doesn't even catch your eye. It just looks like a natural forest setting. I think it's very well done, and the presentation is good. Japanese white pine, good size, nice branching, an old little tree. I really don't see much improvement except for some growth. I would keep it short though. It's a nice little, almost Shohin tree. Presentation with the moss is very nice. Got a very nice trident maple display here. A twin trunk or mother-daughter style. The sizing is perfect. The display is very nice. I really don't see any improvement except get some little more foliage on those branches, and it would really be exceptional. Little needle juniper, basically Shohin, great character in the trunk. I really don't see much improvement, and the 3-point display is very well done. Got a Green Mountain boxwood. It's a nice tree. It does have taper. It looks like a very young tree because the branches are headed up. I believe it does need some wiring and a little more styling, and bring those branches down, give it some age, and maybe even make it shorter and tuck it in places. The accent plant is very neat. It's in berry as we speak, and I think it's well done. Got a nice natal plum here. Very good style. It's a shame it's not in flower or fruit. It could have a little more foliage on it. It looks a little sparse, but the accent plant kind of wakes up the viewing, so I think it's nice. Got a nice Sanoki cypress here. It looks very old. Good presentation. I don't really see any improvements to be made on this tree. I hope the owner just continues as he's doing. The overall presentation is well done. Got a black pine. It's got some nice nibari. The branching to me is a little strange. I believe all branching should kind of match each other. In this case, we've got branches down, we've got branches in crooks left and right, straight branches. But overall, it's a pretty nice tree. It could use a little work, it's just my opinion, but the presentation is nice. Got a Barbados cherry cascades. Something unusual you don't see too often. So in that respect, I think it's very neat. The presentation is well done, and it looks very natural, and I really don't see any improvement. Got a little Schefflera grove here. The grove is nice. I think the bottom needs to be cleaned up a little bit. There's a little too much foliage at the bottom. It kind of blocks the viewing of the trunks. The accent plant along with it is very nice. So the overall presentation is well done. Got a nice little Fukienti Psyche, I believe. Kind of windswept on the ocean side. Very nice, very well done. It could use a nice accent plant, or maybe even a 3-point setting with a scroll behind, but besides that, it's pretty neat. Got a Chinese elm, actually imported probably from China. This is usually the way they are done in China. It's probably a young tree in the United States here. It does need some work. The pads do need filling in quite a bit, but give it time, and it will be neat. The overall presentation is well done. We have a common privet here, which is a collected species. Very old looking, very well done. It's kind of like a literati cascade. I don't see any improvement. I wish it was mine. It goes very nice with the accent plant. Got a nice Scotch pine, something overlooking maybe the bluff of the mountains, somewhat windswept to me. I think it's very well done. The accent plant goes with the style of the tree, I believe. So the overall presentation is very nice. Got a ponderosa pine here, most likely collected. Probably an old tree, very old tree. It's got a lot of character. I love the dead wood, but again, the coloring needs improvement or needs some aging, but the overall presentation is good. Bougainvillea, glabra, I believe, miniature flowers. It could use some work, but it is natural, something you'd see on the beaches after storm came through. The trunk is nice and rough. I really don't like the ground cover on it, but besides that, with the accent plant, it's very neat. Got a Shimpaku here, Tanuki, I believe. It's well done. Maybe a little too much wood showing. It'd be nice to have more branching, but I'm sure that's the goal of the owner. So in time, I think it'll fill in and be very nice. The accent plant goes very well with the presentation. The trident maple on a rock or within the rock. Very nice seaside type display. Very well done. Good branching.